The person we're going to talk about today wasn't actually a real person, but he's nevertheless very well known. Sherlock Holmes. He was a character in a series of very popular books, written by an author called Arthur Conan Doyle. In fact, there are 4 long novels and 56 short stories about the adventures of Sherlock Holmes. His adventures happened between the years of 1880 to 1914. Mainly in London, but also in other places around the country. The author, Conan Doyle, was born during the time of Queen Victoria, who ruled Britain for 64 years. The London of this time is very famous and romantic. It's the time when London had lots of fog in the air, the time of not just Sherlock Holmes, but of Dickens too. It was the time when Britain was at its height, and London was the biggest city in the world. The most important city in the world. It was a time of wealth and progress. Sherlock Holmes was a detective, which means he helped the police to solve crimes, to find out who committed these crimes. A lot of these crimes are very difficult to solve, and it's only Holmes who can work out the answer. He's famous for being extremely intelligent, much more so than normal people. He's also extremely knowledgeable about lots of different things. His house is full of books and pieces of paper, all in large piles. He knows everything there is to know about certain things. However, he only knows a lot about the things that will help him solve crimes. He knows almost nothing about the things that most people know about, like literature and politics. In the books, Holmes says that a person's brain only has a certain amount of space in it, so learning useless things is filling up space that could be used for useful things. However, if the thing is useful in his work, he knows everything about it. For example, he has an amazing amount of knowledge of things like chemistry and poisons. What he's best known for is his ability to understand things from the smallest details. This is called observation. He looks around him and can see everything, much more than most people can. He notices the little details that most people ignore. The smallest thing can be the clue to solving the crime, and in his books it often is. He notices tiny little things like the mud on someone's shoes or some ash from a cigarette. These are the things that normal people don't notice, but Holmes can use them to discover who committed the crime. As well as his observation, he's also famous for using logic. This is also known by another word, deduction. Deduction means that he slowly gets rid of all the explanations that can't possibly be true. After doing this, he's finally left with only one explanation, which must be the answer, no matter how unlikely it is. As he says himself, if all the other explanations can't be true, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. His intelligence, observation, and deduction are Sherlock Holmes's most famous skills. Although Holmes helps the police to solve all these crimes, he's happy to let the police take the credit. He doesn't care about being famous or being rich. He just wants something interesting to do with his time. He's so intelligent that he gets bored very easily, and helping the police solve crimes is his way of not being bored. There are also some things that Holmes does that seem strange to us today. For example, when he was very bored, he would sometimes take drugs, like cocaine and morphine. At this time in the late 19th century, these drugs were legal in England. They were quite new, and people didn't really know how dangerous and addictive they were. Holmes was also always smoking tobacco, by cigarette or cigar, but most often by pipe. Sherlock Holmes's pipe is one of the things he's most famous for. In fact, as soon as we see a pipe like that nowadays, the first thing we think of is Sherlock Holmes. Although Holmes solved all these crimes, he was not alone while he was doing it. He had a helper called Dr. Watson. He is Holmes's assistant and friend, and he helps him with his work. All the Sherlock Holmes books are written from the point of view of Dr. Watson. It's Watson who is writing the story and telling us what he and Holmes did. In recent years, the stories of Holmes have become quite popular again, with a TV series in the UK and a movie in America.